What up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a review on the Surefire X300 Turbo. Surefire is my personal favorite light company, and I just wanted to make sure that I do my job as somebody who reviews and also does product development to test out what's supposed to be the newest bang for your buck, highest performing light out there. Surefire has a big name. There's other big names like Modulate and Streamlight that we'll be talking about today, but for the most part, you're going to be seeing me run Surefire and Streamlight for reasons that I'll explain pretty soon here. First off, let's talk about my experiences running the Surefire X300 Turbo. Today is my only day running it, gonna be honest with you, and it ran surprisingly really well. And I don't say surprisingly really well because like I think Surefire is not great, or I normally have issues with them, because I don't. I think they are great. They're my favorite company. I don't have issues with them. The reason why I say surprisingly great is because when I look at the numbers, I don't want to get nerdy about this whole thing. I don't really care about that. I care about people who use their gear and then give real data and feedback from those experiences, right? So 650 lumens, 60,000 plus candela. That's what we're looking at for the Surefire Turbo. And there it is. Okay, cool. For me, 650 lumens didn't seem like some massive selling point. It actually seemed like a sweet spot for me personally, because I do really like the Streamlight TLR7A for carrying, and I also like the Surefire X300V for pretty much everything. That's become my favorite light. The X300A which is what I normally run on most of my outside the waistband setups, that's one of my favorite lights too, 1,000 lumens. I believe the candela on that is around 12,000. Point is that the difference in candela and lumens, again, I said I wasn't going to get nerdy here, is pretty significant between the two lights. But when you hear 650 lumens, you don't think anything groundbreaking. When you hear mod light and the lightsaber thing that people always say about mod lights, you're always like, oh my god, massive numbers, punch through photonic barriers, all this good stuff, right? But I care about actual hands-on experience, because I'm not somebody who just airsofts. I'm not somebody who just buys a pair of Jordan Retro 4s and puts them on the shelf so they can look good. I wear my shoes. I use my things for performance. I use everything. My firearms are for self-defense. Yeah, I have fun with them. Yeah, I love to train, but I don't personally buy firearms so that I can look cool on Instagram, as much as I like looking cool on Instagram. So that's why I really wanted to talk about the Surefire X300 Turbo. And the reason why I say it's impressive is because in comparison, at 60 feet, that was the distance I worked with today, on top of my previous experiences with the other Surefire models, the Streamlight models and the Modlight models. Today, it performed really well in comparison to the OKW, the PL350 light, and OKW handheld light. So the numbers to me look kind of weird, but they make sense. But honestly, I'm really impressed with the light. The idea with the light, I believe, was to be a competitor to the Modlight OKW, something that gets really long distance, nice tight beam, not super floody, not super up close, because people for some reason have a hard-on for really fucking punchy tight beams, right? Modlight made that a thing, and now everybody's chasing it. That's cool. That's awesome. Modlight has changed the game, and I think that we should all thank them and appreciate them for changing the game. But I'm going to talk a little bit about reliability today. So before I get into reliability, let's look at some of the differences. I'll drop some clips into this video too, me at the range, multiple range days. But let's look at some comparisons real quick, just up close at a few feet at the beams. So I have the Turbo with me, and that's what we're looking at a few feet. It's not really going to be in focus, but you can kind of tell, right? And then we compare that with the standard X300 AU, and then that's going to be a little bit floody, right? So you can see Turbo, X300 UA, and then my personal favorite light, the X300V. If I can get that in focus, there you go. Nice. Okay, so that's what that light looks like. And this is 350 lumens. So lumens is not the strength of this light because it's both white light and IR. But as you'll see in some of the other videos I have, that I'm gonna post here, it actually does plenty. I've shot personally 40 yards with the X300V with no issues, reliability wise or functionality wise. I would love to show you guys what this Modulate OKW PL350. I'd love to show you guys what this looks like, but I can't. Oh shit, I guess I can. Okay, so I'm gonna keep that in this video because that's important. I personally have had 3 Modlites break on me. Today I put a brand new battery, or I should say recharge battery, even though I do keep brand new Modulite batteries that are unused. I recharged the battery, I set this thing up, took it to the range today. I tested all these lights before I took them to the range today, and this particular light failed on me in the middle of one of the last drills I was doing. The PL350 OKW Modulite. Okay, that's the 3rd Modulite. I've had a cracked head Modulite from dropping on cement. I've had a PLH die on me, just die, and I just don't know why. Couldn't tell you why. It was on a handheld light. It wasn't even on a weapon light. And I've had a dual fuel OKW on a handheld light die too. So this actually, that's hilarious. This is working now. And a few hours ago, this light was not working. And I did a ton of stuff at the range. This is the turbo. So this is the OKW. That's the turbo. You guys can kind of see what those look like side by side. Right? Pretty similar, right? Lumens are way crazier on this Modulite. But anyways, my point is with that Modulite is I actually had it fail on me in the middle of shooting. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was doing stationary at like 25 feet and just had it on. Oh, there it is again. Live on camera. Not working. Again, I tested all my lights this morning before running them, and they all ran before I shot, during shooting, and then this thing has just been giving me shit all day. So yeah, with the Modulite, definitely had some reliability issues. I wish I could say this is the first Modulite I had reliability issues with, excuse me. Like I said, those other ones, whether it's handheld, pistol light, the rifle light, I didn't have a issue with the Modulite head or the body. I had an issue with the button connecting to the Surefire tail cap, as well as 3 of my training partners having that same issue with the same setup on different rifles. So I wish I can say I'm team Modulite, but I'm not. Like I said, I think they're very important. I think that what they're doing is important for our community. Because of them, amazing companies like Surefire are pushing innovation, right? Surefire probably wasn't going to think about having that balance of candela and lumens the way they did if it wasn't for Modulite pushing them. So I think we have to thank Modulite, but we also shouldn't buy Modulites for $400 like I did. For every fucking Modulite I've ever owned, I bought all of them. None of them were given to me. You know, $300 to $400 a piece, most expensive light on the market, and you know, I had 3 of them break. This one, I'm considering this one, oh, again, live on camera, I'm considering this one broken because it's working and not working, and in between fiddling on camera right now with this, I've been taking the head off and the battery and putting it back on so that I make sure that it's not a user error. Again, I'll drop some videos on here while I'm talking of the light actually failing me in real time. Yeah, I'm really disappointed in Modulite. Like I said, I think they're important for innovation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is what you trust your life with, right? So, with that being said, back to the Surefire Turbo. This right here. This thing's awesome. What's nice about this Surefire Turbo that I found is that I personally love the manipulations of the Surefire lights, the X300 series. I can utilize them really well personally for me. The toggles, the buttons, I can either have handheld like this. I personally really like doing that. If I pull it out of my pocket, I can do that. I also like the quick detach thing that we have here on the X300A, because I personally like to carry one of these in my bags, whether it's my camera bag, my work bag, my backpacking bag. I like to carry it off body. I like to carry no weapon light on my carry firearm. It's just more comfortable that way. That's just how I am. I always have handhelds on me anyways, so if I need to ID something, I can either use this or, ironically enough, this Theorem OKW Modulate handheld that I personally love to use. I'll make a video on this and my reasoning behind why I use this. It's more for self-defense rather than positive ID, but I'll get more into that in a different video. But anyways, back to the X300 with the A quick detach. The little levers here. My point in bringing all that up is that the X300 series, they all feel the same. They all share the same holster setup. You can use the same holster for an X300V, X300U, X300 Turbo now. I like that. I like how it's interchangeable. I like only having, you know, maybe 2 concealable holsters and 2 outside the waistband holsters. I don't want to have to buy a million holsters whenever I want to change lights. So I think that's really nice that they kept that same platform. That's very user friendly. And again, my first time using this light is today, and it had 0 issues. It worked just like every other Surefire light that I've ever ran. Big fan of Surefire. Again, I personally manipulate the Surefire weapon light extremely comfortably, so that's why it's my go-to, on top of the fact that I've actually cracked a Surefire lens before. I've actually cracked that. I made like a complete spiderweb crack when I was sprinting uphill with the T-Rex arms at Ragnarok, and I think I just didn't have the retention on the holster tightened down as much as I should. And Ragnaroks are not level 2, level 3 holsters. So with the X300 and the G17, it slipped out and it tumbled and it cracked right on top of a boulder, and the light worked and ran just fine, no issues. But I sent it back to see what the process was with Surefire when things go wrong, and within 2 weeks they sent me a brand new light. That's my personal experience. That's all I'm going to base any of this on, and my personal opinion on these things, okay? So again, I showed you guys the difference in the beam patterns. I'll drop some clips in this video of me shooting at 25, 50, and 60 feet, because that's the ranges that my indoor range locally allows with low light. And I'll also drop some clips in from outdoor shooting. I know with the X300UA, that particular light, I have no issue shooting 50, 60 yards, hitting C-zone steel at a very consistent rate. That's just me personally. I don't know if what standards anybody else holds, but I usually hold the standards to how well can I use the tool, how reliable is the tool, and how accessible is fixing the tool, right? So what I do appreciate about the Surefire lights is that they have the CR123 batteries, right? And I like that because you can go to any Bass Pro Shop or Turner Outdoorsman and find these batteries, and they work for almost anything. There's a lot of night vision that uses those. There's other weapon lights like the Streamlight series lights, like TLR7A. They're very accessible, and I keep a ton of them in my house, in my car, in my bags. I like that. Modulate, they're using the better batteries, the 18650s. Much better battery if you're willing to keep a charger around and be willing to charge that thing and stay on top of it. I know personally with my handheld light, I'm very good at keeping this thing recharged, because I know I carry it every single day, and like I always play with it and fiddle with it. So my point is, whatever you're thinking about, whatever your reasoning is for having one of these weapon mounted lights or handheld lights even, what's the accessibility, what's the usability, right? CR123s, excuse me, the batteries are very accessible, and anywhere in America, I would say, you can get them pretty much anywhere you go. And you can't get 18650s anywhere you go, and you can't find a charger for those anywhere you go. You can find them more than you used to be able to, but my point is it's not as accessible, right? I want to talk a little bit about the paddles now. I'm going to post some clips of me using these paddles. Let's see if this thing works. Ah, it works. So the paddles on the Modulate PL350 versus the paddles on the Surefire. Let's see if I can get these in focus. Ah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, so the paddle difference is I can momentarily utilize this light, right? Or I can rotate it, right? Constant on, constant off, momentary. I can't say the same for the Modulate, and I guess I am comparing it a lot to the Modulate because the Modulate is the competition. Again, most expensive light. You're paying anywhere between $220 for the Surefire X300U to $430 for the Surefire X300V, which is IR capable. And these two are sitting somewhere in the $350 range, right? Yeah. So for this to only be constant on and not momentary, just there's no like, it's either you're constantly on or constantly off. And as if I wasn't already having reliability issues with this thing engaging and not engaging whenever it feels like it, I also, when I'm engaging it while shooting under recoil, not just standing still one bullet every 5 seconds, like when I'm actually running and gunning or shooting 3 to 5 bullets at a fast pace, a decent pace, this thing just jumps on its own, man. This PL350, it'll engage, disengage, I'll lock it all the way on, and then I'll shoot and the thing will come off on its own without fully engaging or disengaging. It just triggers on its own. I can't say I've ever seen that with the Surefire series lights. With these paddles, everybody that I've seen use these, myself personally, I use them all the time. It's never happened. So I guess what it comes down to is what's your use and your purpose for this light. If you want to see 40, 50 yards, all the way out to 100, 150 yards, maybe you do pick the Modulate and sacrifice reliability. Like I said, with the X300U, which is much floodier, the X300U, much floodier than the Turbo, less distance, more in your face field of view, and way less distance. With the X300U, I'm able to hit 50 yards C-zone consistently any day of the week, mist, fog, whatever. I haven't personally had issues. Rain. And the OKW, it obviously reaches out that far, and I've done a separate review on just the standard X300 versus the Modulate PL350 when the PL350 first came out, and I didn't see any difference in my shooting accuracy from how much I could ID a target. So I mean, it's up to you. If you want 50 plus yards, maybe the OKW is for you. If you only want your house, your backyard, maybe the Streamlight TLR7 is for you. The OKW head with the 18650 battery actually is too much for me indoors. It's blinding, so I can't do that. And I know the PL350 has a smaller battery, so a little bit less output. But for me, the sweet spot personally is the X300B, the IR/white light Surefire 300 series light. Okay, and again, this turbo, I think this thing is exactly what I would be looking for if I was shooting a handgun and trying to ID things at 50, 60, 70 yards. For me personally, I don't personally think anybody needs to see at nighttime at 80 plus yards with a handgun. I think you can be using different lights, like a car light, a light that you keep in your car, or at that point you should be using a rifle. I've shot steel at 100 yards. Would I ever do that in a real situation? There's very, very few times where I'll ever have to do that. So I'm not going to sit here and say that you'll never need it, but I also think the odds of you needing anything past 20 or 30 yards to identify something at night, which is what these lights are for, with a handgun, I don't see it happening. And the reliability already has me sold on SureFire. SureFire's never failed me. So yeah, some things to think about. The price point is different on the turbo. I personally paid $360, and that's about $100 and some change more than the standard X300. And the mod light, again, it's up there. The TLR7A, that's usually what I suggest people get for their first time light. That thing's about $130. That's the best bang for the buck. It's not 100% American made, but I still really like the reliability and the ease of use with that light. So, depends on what you want. You want distance? I highly suggest this turbo. I've only used it once. I'll continue to use it. But if it's anything like the other SureFire 300 lights that I own, and I own a lot of them in every variation, it's going to be reliable. It's going to have the same manipulations. It's going to fit the same holsters. And it's going to be the same company that is backing you. So, that's up to you. You make the decision. I'll tell you right now, no company is going to buy me or have me push their product that I don't believe in, or pretend like I don't have issues with their products. I also make my own products. I make triggers, base plates, back plates, slide plates, things like that. And when people tell me, something wrong with my product, or they have some sort of validity to an issue that might be occurring with one of my products, and if I can recognize that, I do my best to make it better. I don't try to suppress that, okay? So I think we should all be looking for honesty, and we should all be looking for the best product for our needs, right? So if you guys want an honest review, that's what I think of the SureFire X300 Turbo.